Hey guys, this is my review of the Panama Shaman. I don't know how you do it. But this is a 20 watt all tube head, 4 12AX7s, 2 EL84s. It says it's 20 watts. It sounds really much bigger than that. Oh, that's why I'm not plugged in. Okay. Okay, yeah, that would explain it. Alright. I'll just leave that in there real quick. And the other half is over here. There we go. Now I know I wasn't getting any sound. Okay. But it's a 20 watt tube head. It has basically 4 channels. What I've heard from this is that it's kind of like a Mesa Boogie mini rectifier. 4 channels. There isn't a rectifier switch on the back. I don't think that really matters. It has a effects loop on the back, and on the back it also has... No, it's pretty much an effects loop. It's a 4 8 ohm output with a send and return, or you can just bypass the effects loop, which I'm doing right now because I don't really need it. But there's also a foot switch. You can change the channels manually. So all the way up on this one right here is the green channel. This is the lighter gain channel. All the way down is the red channel. But if you do it in the middle and you have the foot switch enabled, I have the foot switch right here. It's just, really simple. There's no LED on it or anything. Basically, you just plug this in, and it's the second input right here. Second input below the jack. And if you set it to the middle position on the channel selector, you can just do it that way, which I really like. It's better than having a switching system. When you insert it, there's fewer points of failure, and I just really like that. But so we will try the clean channel first. One noticeable feature of this amp is that it is all written in hieroglyphics, which is really a pain. About the only two that you can really understand is that these two right here, because the power switch has a power sign on it, and the standby switch has a caution sign on it, which I mean makes sense. Other than that, you have obviously the channel switching one, which makes sense, and you have this one right here, which is like, it's a sine wave. It basically looks like what your signal will look like once it starts distorting. For people who this is their first amp, it may be tough. This is significantly more difficult to understand than the orange level hieroglyphics, which is really saying something. And on this one right here, we actually have a wattage selector for both of the channels. On top it says XX watts, and on bottom it just says X watts. So on the bottom it's obviously lower. What I think it is that bottom is using 1 tube in class A, and top is using 2 tubes in class AB, which would explain the XX versus the X on both of them. Basically, if you're not familiar with tube amps, the actual controls on this are really going to mess with you. All the way over here, give you a quick guess. What's this one? The weird snake-looking thing? It's gain. Next one, we have treble, middle, bass, presence, and then master volume. So if you're familiar with amplifiers, you kind of know there's like 2 different ways you can do this. I originally thought, could this be reverb or could this be reverb? And one of them is master volume, but no, this is presence. Really, if you're familiar with tube amps, it's not that difficult. It's just kind of a pain. If you're not familiar with tube amps, it's going to take some experimentation. I'm going to turn both of them to the class AB. You can really tell when it changes because the sound will get a lot thicker. I don't know how to explain it. It's not very much of a jump in volume at all, really. Once you start cranking it, you can obviously tell there's a volume change. At this volume, there's really no volume change whatsoever. It just sounds fuller when it's on XX. The bottom one sounds kind of dull and anemic, and the top one sounds a lot better. I'm going to drop the bass a little bit, boost up the middle and treble, and we'll keep the presence at about there. And I'm going to bring it back a little bit, and we're going to switch to distorted. Let's turn it all the way down first. Got the power tubes cooking right there. It's a little too bright for my taste. I'll dial that back down a little bit more. And the interplay between the gain and the volume is immense. As soon as you start turning this down, it's tube based, so the volume will just drop sharply, and it's kind of difficult to get used to. You have to be riding the master volume a lot. This is a nice edge of breakup sound. If you pushed it with a boost pedal, it would really start getting nasty. But once we move it to about noon, it gets... It starts getting edge of breakup. We'll turn it to about 7 right here. Towards about 7, we start getting really dirty, and up to 10, we're getting... It's tough, definitely. Up here, you're not getting really anything, and over here, you're getting too much. But it's, again, what I want to say is that this is based on the Mesa Boogie Mini Rectifier. It is not an amp which I'm comfortable with. I am very firmly in the Gibson, Fender, Marshall amp territory. I don't really know what to do with this. And this will be very obvious once we get to the second channel. The second channel is categorized by an extreme jump in volume. That's all the way down. We'll start turning it up a little bit, and you'll see that it gets a lot dirtier, a lot faster than the clean channel. Okay, so this is, again, the lower gain version of the second channel. We are at about 3. It's where the clean channel was starting to get at about 7. We'll switch between these two. Yeah. Accounting for the obvious difference in the presence controls. Yes, that it is very much louder and dirtier on the second channel. We're starting to get into like JCM 800 territory. I'm pretty sure that this first channel on the second, this is similar to a JCM 800 in my opinion. If we go by what amp types, I think, actually we'll wait till the end of the video, but this part right here seems like a JCM 800 to me. It's just... very heavy at that point. And now we're going to really get into it right here with the all the way at the bottom channel. Now right here, we're getting at around a quarter volume what we were getting at a third, and at about quarter, we were getting about at a half and 3/4 on the other channel. And as we start bringing this knob up, it's going to start getting impressive. Turn it down a little bit, and up a little bit. And this one is really loud, like incredibly loud. Master volume, I'm riding like almost all the way down. The gain is getting impressive as it starts creeping up there. And we're gonna turn it all the way up. Very brutal. We're starting to get into the Mesa Boogie Mini rectifier. We're starting to get into the rectifier right there. I would like to divert your attention to the fact that I was on my neck pickup for the entire time, and this is a 7 ohm neck pickup. So if you start boosting it or chuck a tube screamer in front of there, it's going to get crazy. Yeah, it's something else. I have to do my thumb. Yeah, it's really heavy once you start getting there. Basically, I just want to kind of go through this again just for you guys. This is essentially, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, a Mesa Boogie mini rectifier, except for $700 cheaper, cooler front, and unfortunately no rectifier choice option on the back. It makes guitars sound massive. It's a high gain amp, which I am not used to. Full disclosure, I'm very into blues. This is out of my comfort zone. So thank you guys for sticking with this. We have the attenuation knobs on both channels, low, on the bottom, high on the top. I think it switches from like 5 to 20. So it's, I mean, if you want to dime out the master volume on the hard channel and get like both pre and power tube distortion, you're going to want to have it on the bottom setting. I prefer it on the top for all else. We're going to go through the different channels now and what I think they are. Top one, I'm pretty sure, is a just, you know, your typical Fender chime channel. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's pretty decent. It's a little bit muddy. I put in a lower gain tube in one of the positions. That may be it. That may be why it sounds a little muddy right there. If we turn up the sparkle, back down the bass, and turn up the presence, we get, which is a lot better. And also what I've heard is that these types of amps are very difficult to dial in, so I'm just saying that as is. Second channel, I'm pretty sure, is just a plexi. I mean, boost it, you get like a lot of gain, turn it all the way up, and it's definitely formidable. You know, it's just a plexi. I mean, Jimi Hendrix stuff. Just your typical classic rock, gonna bite your head off kind of stuff if you turn it all the way up. Really fun. We're gonna go to the bottom channel now. Top setting, I'm pretty sure, is a JCB 100. Or, you know, modded Marshall, typical sound. It's heavy, but it still has that Marshall thump to it. And bottom one, I'm gonna say, is obviously a dual rectifier. Because it just sounds so much more gainy, so much brighter and meaner than any of the others. I'm pretty sure it's a rectifier. Just your typical really fat, really mean tone. So now for my general review of this. This one right here was sent to me broken, $200. Amazing deal. But typically you can get these for $300. Working, amazing deal as well. Realistically, the only downside I can see, and this is obviously common with Mesa Boogies as well, is it's a PCB-based amp. That's literally it. Personally, I don't prefer the sound of the L84s. I don't think that matters for 99% of the guitar amp community. But really, it shouldn't matter for me, to be honest. It's just kind of a thing I have. It has a lot of functionality. You have an effects loop. You have essentially 4 different sounds, and you can switch between 2 of them with a foot switch. And it has a built-in attenuator if you want to crank it. This is for like 300 max. You can pick them up for $250 no problem, and if you make an offer, they'll probably give it to you for $200. I see no reason why anyone should turn this down. It's just a great deal, and I'm surprised this company didn't stay around for longer. It's just great, and I would highly recommend that you buy this. It's just a good amp all around. And were it not for me having better amps here, I would definitely be keeping this. And it's really portable, weighs about 20 pounds. You can carry it to gigs, and it's loud enough to be heard over a drummer. I again see no reason why you wouldn't pick this up. It's just great, whether top channel pedal platform, you want a Marshall sound, you want a heavy Marshall sound, or you want a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier sound. You can't go wrong with this amp, and yeah, just get it. It's amazing. I would also like to add that this is one of the first 100 of these ever built, serial number 1094. I think that's cool. Yeah, it's very rare that you find one of these with anywhere below 3,000. So getting the 94th one, and I know that the serial number started at 1,000 because I looked it up. Getting the 94th one is really cool, and I really, really like that. Um, get it. It's amazing. I guess that's my review.